Did you know that Thanos has a younger brother named Eros, aka Starfox? Well, he does, and he's already in the MCU. So let's talk about him. What's up, my comic comrades? When you talk about Titans, one of the first names that comes to mind is Thanos, but a lesser-known Titan and Eternal is his younger brother Eros, aka Starfox. The character first appeared in the Invincible Iron Man 55 in February of 1973 and was created by the great Jim Starlin. Now, since I already mentioned that Starfox is Thanos' younger brother, let's talk about his family tree. Starfox's parents are Mentor, aka Alars, and Sui-san, and while his older brother Thanos became an evil tyrant, Eros is the complete opposite, being driven by love, and eventually a member of the Avengers. In the Eternals Thanos Rises one-shot, we see Eros' father, Alars, is the brother of the King of the Eternals, Zurus. But they saw things very differently, which led to Alars' exile on the Moon Titan that was ravaged by war. There he took on the name Mentor and found Sui-san. She asked him, "Why are you here, Alars?" He responds, "Not Alars, Mentor. I am starting a new endeavor, so I need a new name for it. I come in hope of finding a fellow exile." "Why are you here?" She responds, "Do not mock my fallen state. You know, in defeat, those who sided with Uranos and survived left Earth, escaping the harshest of eternal justice." For those of you who don't know, Uranos is one of the first generation Eternals, and after organizing a failed rebellion, him and his followers were exiled. Anyway, Mentor replies to her, "Yes, and they all eventually died. I awoke back on Earth and was mind wiped. They mainly serve Oceanus now. They were lucky to not be excluded, but that's not what I'm asking. You're here because you joined the Uranites, but you do not have Uranos' genocidal passion. Why did you join the Uranites?" She replies, "For love. My love sided with them. I could not fight them. It was a mistake. Love dies and then only the ashes remain." Mentor says, "We all make mistakes for love, but love can end well too." At which point she laughs, saying, "You've come here to seduce me?" He answers, "Perhaps eventually, but I come to you because I see a proud Eternal who has lived in her ruins for too long. I think she would want a future. I think her like Titan, a place reduced to its strong foundation where one can build." As the two of them go on to start building the new world on Titan, a caption says, "All stories are born of hope." The belief that there will be a next line of hope. Mentor and Sui-san hoped, and Titan blossomed and grew a people to populate it. Aliens, clones, constructs, all accepted. Eternal biological technology written into their cells. Eventually, true love also grew between Sui-san and Mentor. However, in this land, where miracles are commonplace, they never had the miracle they hoped for, children. At which point, Mentor pleads with his father, Kronos, saying, "Father, enough. My efforts are frustrated. Help me. You have powers of the firmament. You can bypass that which is coded into us. Help me bridge the gap." His father says, "This is a mistake." Mentor tells him, "You nearly destroyed a world in your desire to know more. My reach is shorter. I would, but have a child. How can you abandon us?" Kronos says, "Very well, but I would not have a grandson out of wedlock. I'll even provide the rings." Captions would say the rings would be the missing link for Mentor and Sui-san. They made the impossible possible. The ceremony Kronos demanded was not really necessary, however, I understand. It was quite a beautiful occasion. As we see during the ceremony, Kronos give the two of them the quantum bands, saying, "I declare you man and wife. Go forth, find your dream. A boy. He will be a boy." So with the blessing of Kronos and the quantum bands, they conceive kids later that night doing the no pants dance, as Mentor tells her true eternal child, "At last." I wanted to call the boy Thanos, our triumphs over death. As they hold hands, she smiles back, saying, "I love it." Sui-san would eventually give birth to their first son, Thanos, and we all know how that went. He became an evil tyrant, torturing his mom, hating his parents, and trying to take over the universe. But eventually, that second boy would come around, Eros, going by the name Sui-san originally wanted for her and her husband's love. Now, Thanos is an Eternal with a deviant gene, which explains why he looks different from every other Eternal, having purple skin and a prune chin. But this makes him incredibly unique and extremely powerful, being essentially a hybrid of Eternals and deviants. But we're mainly here to talk about Eros. Eros is fun, loving, and carefree. He loves to have a good time. He is also a true member of the Eternals, being integrated into the machine that is Earth, meaning he is resurrected through the machine because, remember, eternal. He cannot die. Now, along the way, Thanos being Thanos would eventually kill his mother and try to steal the throne from his father, leading to him being exiled from Titan. It's at this point Thanos was basically like, "Cool, bro, I'm gonna get my hands on the cosmic cube and no one will be able to stop me." This all leads to Captain Marvel issue 31, where we see Eros team up with Captain Marvel, Drax the Destroyer, and several Avengers to defeat Thanos. In the end, the combined might of the Avengers, Captain Marvel and Eros, defeat Thanos, at least for now. After this, Starfox would return to Titan, where we see in Avengers issue 230, he's talking to his lady friend, saying, "This is the first time in ages that I've spent so much consecutive months on Titan. I've ever been a wanderer. I've sought out adventure across the wide cosmos. Frankly, I have known romance on more worlds than most. Our friendship has been wonderful, but I'm having a hard time adjusting to it. My previous relationships have all been and of a fleeting nature. She tells Starfox, "You don't have to explain, Eros. Look, you've been a great comfort to me these last few months, but now I need to be alone for a while with my thoughts." He replies, "Ya do?" She says, "I understand you need to frolic. It's in your nature. It's what makes you Eros. I couldn't deny you of that." He says, "Elysius, truly, you are a woman unlike any other," as he flies off to his father saying, "Mentor, the wanderlust has hit me again. I need Isaac's help in finding the planets with the biggest adventure potential, if that's all right with you." His father says, "Do as you must," as the computer Isaac tells him the highest adventure potential planet is Earth. Then in issue 31 of the Avengers, we see Eros make his way to Earth, where he helps the Avengers defeat a monster that looks like Swamp Thing's long-lost brother. Telling the Avengers, "Greetings, my friends. Eros of Titan bids you well. Sorry I couldn't have been of assistance earlier, but I overshot Maryland twice on my way here." Eros, enamored by a new Avenger member, says, "Thor, who is this charming new comrade of yours?" Thor says her name should sound familiar to Eros. She is Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel asks, "What brings you to Earth?" He says, "Why, I think it should be obvious. I've come to join the Avengers." With all the Avengers shocked, and Hawkeye saying, "Oh no." This leads us to issue 232 of the Avengers, where they're questioning him saying, "Why do you want to be an Avenger?" He answers, "Why not?" Hawkeye then slams his fist on the table saying, "Do you think you can just waltz in here?" And Eros says, "If my manner offends you, Hawkeye, I apologize. I am a lover of adventure, among other things, and what better way to seek it than as an Avenger? You know most of my talents. I aided you in times past." Thor says, "Against the threat of your mad brother Thanos." Starfox says, "Too true, but I believe your brother Loki has also given the Avengers trouble, hasn't he?" Wasp speaks up saying, "We might be able to accommodate you, Eros, especially with Hawkeye out of action as he has a broken leg." Wasp then says, "But we'll have to come up with a code name for you. Frankly, the president was hesitant to approve anyone named Eros. He would rather you be called something less provocative in public. You are a pretty foxy guy, and you've been among the stars. How about Starfox?" He says, "Starfox? I don't know. Is this necessary?" Captain America then speaks up saying, "Well, it could make things easier, and you still be Eros to your friends. After all, my real name isn't Captain America." To which Eros says, "It isn't? Very well, then Starfox I shall be." And with that, he becomes an official member of the Avengers. After this, Starfox would be an on-off-again Avenger and often help battle his evil brother Thanos. Eventually, Thanos would even kill Starfox, but come on, this is comics, and he's an Eternal. Even though Thanos resurrected himself using his younger brother's life force, Eros was embedded into the machine long ago and was eventually brought back to life. However, during the recent Judgment Day storyline, when the resurrected celestial progenitor was judging the world, Eternal Cersei saw all the strife and hostility in the world and decided to team up with the Eternal Jack of Knives to spring Eros from his cell, as he has the ability to influence others with euphoria. With Starfox busted free, the mutants just had to overcome certain safeguards within the Unimind, which they did successfully, at which point Eros would be voted to become the new Prime Eternal. Although by the end of the Judgment Day event, when the heroes defeated Progenitor, the role of Prime Eternal was given back to Zurus. So that gives you a general rundown of Starfox and his origin. As for a summary of his powers and abilities, Eros possesses the common abilities of other Eternals, such as superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, immortality, accelerated healing, and the power of flight. However, a power unique to him is his pleasure stimulation ability. This means he has the ability to stimulate the pleasure centers of people's brains within 25 feet of him. This power emanates from him pretty much all the time, making everyone around him feel good. The crazy thing is, if he concentrates this power, he can magnify these emotions, making people feel extremely pleasurable sensations, so much so they could become aroused or even totally sedated. What I'm saying is, there's a reason why he's named after Eros, the Greek god of love and desire. And with Harry Styles being introduced as the live-action version of Starfox in the Eternals movie, it's safe to assume he's going to be taking on a significant role in the MCU at some point. I wouldn't even be surprised if he became a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but we'll talk more about that in an upcoming episode. But what do you guys think about Starfox as a character, and what role do you think he should play in the MCU? Let us know down in the comments.